I am so excited to tell you more about my new book, Go Bravely, Becoming the Woman You Were Created to Be. Isn't this board amazing? This is just a promo board. I don't have the real book just yet. Today I want to tell you a little bit more about the book, and I also want to give you the pre-order link because pre-orders are now open. So I poured my heart and my soul into this book. This book came out of many, many, many hours of praying and thinking and reflecting on my life and what I want young women everywhere to know. As we talk about on my channel here and in person, on my lives, on my Instagram, it is so hard to be a young woman of faith in this day and age. It is so hard to live a life that is completely countercultural. It's so hard to make those decisions that we know are good for us, but that other people aren't making. It is so hard to be brave as a young woman of faith in this day and age. So in this book, I wanted to offer you all 20 different aspects and facets of your life and give you practical ways to bravely incorporate your faith, to bravely live out that aspect of your faith, to bravely live out your authentic femininity in a real and practical way. Because as you know, I don't like fluff. I like real. I want everything to be real, and I wanted this book to be a real conversation with you. If you read my first book, I Choose the Sky, that writing was much more artistic and reflective. My new book is so conversational because I just want you to feel like I'm having coffee with you, like we're talking about life, because that's what this channel is. That's what I like doing with you guys when I meet you at conferences and at your high schools and at your colleges. This is just a real conversation, opening up these topics so that we can talk about them and explore them as young women of faith in the modern world. So I want to share with you what the 20 chapters in this book are about, and you can tell me which one you think sounds the most interesting to you or what you think you would need to hear and read about in your life. The first chapter is called Go Bravely, and it's all about that basis of bravery, how we can be women who live our faith in the modern world, how we can be unafraid to look different, to be different, to make different choices than what the world is telling us to make. How can we live bravely? The second chapter is called Remember Who You Are. It's about our identity as daughters of God. The third chapter is Be Kind to Other Women, talking about authentic sisterhood and community and what that can look like in our lives. Chapter 4 is called Depend on Him, and it's about looking at dependence on God in our lives. What does that look like in a world that tells us to be independent women? Chapter 5, which a lot of you ask about all the time, is called Date with Purpose, and it's all about dating in high school and college. I unpack a lot about like the theme of dating and what role it can play in our lives. So that's chapter 5. Chapter 6 is called Just Keep Swimming, and it's all about choosing our response to our mistakes and failures and how we as women can be so critical and so hard on ourselves and how we can change that in our everyday lives. Chapter 7 is called Find Your Gaggle. It's about finding an authentic group of friends that can lift you up and support you and help you on your journey of faith, because sometimes that's really hard to find. Chapter 8 is called Choose Chastity, and it's about chastity in our lives and the role that it can play in our lives, not just saving sex for marriage, but having to do with the purity of our hearts, looking at chastity for what it really is, which is a virtue that we can live out all across the board in our lives. Chapter 9 is called Be Open to the Jump, and it's all about taking risks in our lives, how we can live in our comfort zone, be comfy and cozy, or we can choose to take risks and be brave in that way as women. Chapter 10 is called Honor Those Who Love You Most. It's about our relationship with our parents or our primary caretakers, the people who raised us. It can be so hard to navigate that relationship with our parents or primary caretakers, so I unpack all of that in that chapter. Chapter 11 is called Give It All You Got, and it's about glorifying God in our work. How do we as women glorify God in our work, in our school, in our studies? How can we give God glory in that? In that chapter, I talk all about that and how I have found ways to give glory to God even in the tiniest little random jobs I had when I was in high school. Chapter 12 is called Love Yourself. How can we learn to love ourselves more? Because if we can't love ourselves, it's really hard to authentically love other people. Chapter 13 is called Clothe Yourself in Strength. It's all about the virtue of modesty and how we can choose to dress as women in a modern and beautiful way that speaks outwardly to our dignity and to our worth. Chapter 14 is called Forgive and Forget. Forgiveness is such a challenging aspect of our lives, and it takes so much bravery to learn how to forgive people people and move on from situations, especially as women. We're emotional and we like holding on to things and we carry all these different things around, and sometimes we just choose to hold on to grudges that we don't need to be holding on to. Chapter 15 is called Keep Calm and Follow God, and that's the chapter on vocations. Vocation is a thing that's specifically for Catholic women, so this is a chapter that's specifically Catholic, but this is a chapter that explores that question. It explores my own discernment to the sacrament of marriage. A lot of you ask about vocation, naturally, legitimate questions that you have, and so I unpack all of that in that chapter. Chapter 16 is called Exercise Your No muscle, and it's about learning to use the word no when we want to say no with firmness and with conviction. Chapter 17, I loved writing this one. It's called Love Your Body. Something that I've been on a long journey to learn how to do. It was a challenging chapter to write, looking at that and looking at exploring my journey of learning to love my body and how I did that. But that chapter is all about that. Chapter 18 was the hardest chapter to write. It's called Ignore the Haters. It's about ignoring the things that other people say about you that aren't true, that tear you down, that speak lies into your life. I share my experiences in college with other people saying horrible things about me. That was a really hard chapter to write, but learning to listen to the voice of truth is something that I really explore in that chapter, and not letting the opinions of other people or what other people have said to us or about us behind our back impact the way that we see ourselves and the way that we operate as a human being and as a woman in the world. Chapter 19 is called Radiate with Light, and this chapter is all about being unafraid to share your testimony with anyone God puts in your path, because a lot of people think that their testimony really wouldn't make a difference if they shared it, but in that chapter I explore how much it makes a difference when you share what God has done in your life with anyone who is willing to listen. Chapter 20, the last chapter of the book, is called Live It Up, and I love that chapter because it's all about enjoying life and embracing life and how God wants us to live lives of joy, that he doesn't want us to be sullen, trying to bravely live out our faith and embracing our faith in a way that's like, oh man, what a horrible cross to carry. That we're supposed to enjoy our lives and live a vibrant, beautiful life as young women. So I want to hear from you. Which of those chapters sounds most interesting to you? More specifically, I wrote this book for young women in high school and in college. These are themes, 20 different themes that we as women can struggle with and explore and look at all throughout our lives, but a lot of the stories that I use are stories of when I was in high school and college. I also understand that I have women of many different faiths who watch my channel, who follow my Instagram and all of those things, which I love. I have so much love in my heart for all of you, and I love that we're all here just learning about life and womanhood together. Because I'm a practicing Catholic, I talk throughout the book about Catholic things, like how I would go to daily mass in college, or the sacrament of reconciliation and how I, found the Lord in that. There are moments where I talk about my Catholic faith, but overall, this is not just a book for Catholic women. The only chapter in this book that is specifically Catholic is the chapter called Keep Calm and Follow God, and that's about vocation, the vocational discernment that a young Catholic woman goes through to see if the Lord is calling her to single life, to marriage, or to be a nun, or to be a sister. Any woman who's not of Catholic faith can either skip over that chapter or read about it. Overall, this book is about womanhood, and it's about loving Jesus as women and what that can look like. I'm also really excited because I'm going to be making a video series that is going to go along with the book. That will be available on my website for purchase, and you can use that alongside your book. This is designed for any woman to read herself or with all of her sister friends that she wants to get together and have coffee and donuts and whatever you guys want to do. So if you want to read it by yourself, awesome. If you want to read it in a bigger group, awesome. If you want to read it with a small group, perfect. Other great news, this book is going to be available in Barnes & Noble stores. I can't believe that I'm gonna have a book in Barnes & Noble. We used to go to Barnes & Noble when I was a child with my mom all the time to the children's section, and never did I believe or imagine that I would have a book in Barnes & Noble. So those are going to be available in select stores. So you can go when the book launches to Barnes & Noble stores if you want to get it in person. If they don't have it, you can ask them to order it for you. What you can do now today is pre-order my book, which I'm so excited about. So I will be including the link in the description below where you can pre-order the book and it will come to you. It's gonna start shipping in the beginning of April. It's gonna be like an Easter gift extravaganza. I will be doing an Instagram live very soon, so if you wanna follow me at mwills, at EMWILSS, I will be sharing more about each chapter and kind of what I share in each chapter, and you guys can ask your questions, anything you wanna know about the book. So, go bravely. I just want you to feel encouraged and supported and loved and empowered to be the woman that God created you to be. That's like my whole mission, is to share my heart with you all, to share God's love with you all, so that you can feel that support and that empowerment. I want you to be confident. I want you to feel strong. I just want you to live the life that God is calling you to without fear and with bravery. And that's why I wrote this book. So I hope it touches your life. I hope that you can share this book with any woman you may know who may need encouragement and support on her walk of faith. In the meantime, you can get to pre-ordering in the link below. Thank you so much for your support. I cannot wait until you have this book in your hands. That's all for today. I'll talk to you soon.